Hi, I'm Josiah.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And this is Worth Watching.
What are you doing? I was taking a nap. Hello and welcome to this episode of Worth Watching. Today we are reviewing Maleficent.
Alright, so the plot of this movie is very similar to the plot of Sleeping Beauty in that you have a girl named Aurora who is the daughter of King Stefan, and she gets cursed by a woman named Maleficent. Then on the eve of her 16th birthday, she'll prick her finger on a needle and fall into a deep sleep, but only true love will awaken her. Basic same plot as Sleeping Beauty, only this time it is told through the perspective of Maleficent, and there are a lot of things in the movie that are different, so it's not just a retelling of the story from a different perspective, it is a whole new story in which Maleficent is actually more of a misunderstood character rather than an outright villain. And one of the major things that shines about this movie is the character of Maleficent, played by Angelina Jolie. She is just fantastic in this movie. When I saw her on the posters and the trailers, I was like, she's going to be really good at playing Maleficent because she can be very creepy when she wants to be, and she is. She does a phenomenal job and was definitely one of my favorite points of the movie.
I also really liked Maleficent. I thought Angelina Jolie did an awesome job. I don't think there was any other actor who probably could have played it as well as her. One of the things I didn't like was Princess Aurora. She was played by Elle Fanning, and I just felt like you could have found someone who could have played Princess Aurora a little better. She did an okay job, but it probably could have been better.
Yeah, and she felt a little bit old for the role, too. Like, she doesn't look like someone who's under 16, in my opinion.
The acting wasn't the greatest, and also the dialogue. The dialogue was awkward. I know they were supposed to be like old-time fairy tale with accents and stuff, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, there were certain words they used that sounded more kind of like modern dialogue, but it was all said in a way to make it sound like it's trying to sound old and fairy tale-ish, which didn't overall work. And there was a lot of really weird expository dialogue that was like dubbed in at the end of scenes that was like to give a character a line to explain what they're doing that really didn't feel necessary, and instead just made scenes that would have spoken well as itself come like, oh, okay, I guess I needed to be hit over the head with the dialogue of what was going on because I couldn't just see it on the screen. However, the cinematography in this movie is really good. You have just some excellent shots that make this movie feel like it's right out of a storybook or like a live action version of an old Disney animated film. It feels very sort of surreal, very vibrant colors and these great grand shots of people walking, and you get to see them just sort of framed with all of the scenery around them, and it really looks really majestic and very fairy tale-esque.
And one of my favorite parts was like the sunsets. They put these through sunsets and the sunrises. And one of the parts, Maleficent was like going up into the sky, and it was like a sunset. It was both of our favorite parts in the movie.
Excellent shot. It's right in the first like 5 minutes of the movie, and they do it again at the end of the movie. And it's just a really cool looking shot and definitely stood out to me. And while overall for a lot of this movie I did like it, I really did not like the ending. I'm not going to give away anything about it because I try to keep things spoiler free, but I will say there's a section of the ending where I was going, please don't make this like Frozen, please don't make this like Frozen, and there's a moment in there, you'll know what it is when you watch the movie, where you go, that feels lifted directly from Frozen, and then the ending just kind of gets choppy and feels like it's trying to do too many things, and there are other elements of the ending where there are shots that look exactly like shots from other films and stuff, where you just go, this really feels like, for a movie that's trying to be original and do something original with a generic story, really derivative at the ending, where you're just watching and going, I feel like I've seen this before so many times, and it's all just being cobbled together completely unnecessarily.
I didn't notice the ending of this movie was like Frozen at all. I liked it because it wasn't like the original fairy tale, and it was just different, and I didn't notice it was like Frozen.
But to end on a positive note, another part of this movie that stands out is the soundtrack. It's this very, again, sort of classic adventure fairy tale soundtrack, which is great, but what really stood out to me was actually right after the movie ends and the credits are starting, there's this great like 1920s old school like jazz sort of fairy tale song that's in there that's wildly just catches you off guard, and I loved it. I thought it sounded really cool and was a great way to sort of wrap up this movie. So as a whole, what would you rate Maleficent on a scale of A through F?
I'd have to give it a B because I really enjoyed it. There were some flaws and some things that didn't really work, but besides that, I liked the story and I thought it was good.
I was thinking of giving it a B until I saw the ending, and again, the ending really annoyed me, and so I dropped it down to a very high C. So just below a B. I think it's still worth watching. I still overall enjoyed it, but it really didn't stand out to me after that ending.
Thanks for watching this episode of Worth Watching.
Remember to like the video if you liked it, comment down below on what you thought of Maleficent, and of course subscribe if you want to see more. Bye.